Hi, my name is Belisle, and this is my case study for Truman Elementary School for AEP 858 Data Analysis and Assessment for the Spring 2017 semester. Category 1 is Problem Identification and Analysis. First, what do I know? I have been the principal at Truman Elementary for 2 years. Our building is a pre-K through 8 building, and of all the schools in our district, Truman is the largest school. We have 15% free and reduced lunch population, and 5% of our students are English language learners, with most of those students speaking Spanish. But overall, our students are English speaking. Based off of recent reading scores and general consensus from parents of reading instruction, there is a negative perception on our reading program. So we send in our reading specialist into our classrooms, and our reading specialist found that teachers are primarily using our Belisle reading program for instruction and for planning. Most of the instruction is done during a 1-hour block, so all reading and language arts is done at one time throughout the day, and it's mostly whole group instruction, so we're not utilizing a lot of individualized planning or leveled instruction for our students. All of the instruction is generally the same, regardless of the students' reading levels or their needs or their learning styles. So this brings up some concerns for the reading specialist and myself on our overall reading instruction from our teachers and how that relates to our decline in reading scores over the last few years. There is a reading grant that is available that could help us improve our reading program that we will be looking into. First, what I need to know moving forward is, how do the teachers feel about the Belisle series? Do they feel that it's meeting their needs, and how long have we had the series? What is the teacher makeup in our building? Do we have a lot of veteran teachers, or are most of our teachers new, young teachers? And what is the education overall? Do we have any teachers with master's degrees? What reading assessments are given in our district, and how are we using those scores to drive instruction? And regarding the PTO letter that was received by the PTO president, where are their negative concerns originating from, and how can we reverse that negative perception? And what are the other buildings in our district using for their reading instruction? So I'd like to find that out to proceed. So overall, identifying the problem, reading instruction and scores need improvement at Truman Elementary School. Our scores are not where they need to be, and after thoughtful consideration from our reading specialist and myself and analysis of our reading instruction, we are not meeting the needs of all of our students. The overall perception of Truman Elementary and our reading program is low from the parents and the PTO organization, and quite frankly from myself also. So there are definitely changes that need to be made. Category 2 is my proposed plan of action, and then the appropriate strategies that I'll use while I implement that plan. First step, I would like to meet with the Board of Education, all of our district reading specialists, and particularly the one that works closely with our school, and any other building principals, so we can collaborate on what reading programs are being used in our district. What are the other buildings using, and how are they seeing results, and what instructional practices are they using in their classrooms to teach reading? What's the district's overall reading scores, and are we seeing a trend of decline at those elementary schools as well, or is it just localized to Truman? And then with all of those parties, I would like to discuss the grant available and decide if that is something that Truman needs to take on individually as a school, or if this is something that we're going to use for overall district improvement. Second step, I would like to meet with our curriculum team, so our CCC and our teachers. And first I'd like to discuss our overall feelings towards the Belisle series. Do the teachers feel that it's meeting their needs, or are they having to supplement a lot, and how are the resources that we're supplementing with, corresponding from year to year, and how long have we been using the series? Is it time for an update? Do we need to find something that better aligns with our new state standards? And obviously something that better meets the needs of our students. I would then want to express my concerns about our reading scores and the findings from the reading specialist over our instructional practices. Definitely want to proceed with caution to not discourage our teachers. So I would voice my appreciation to them, but I would also want to be direct about the problem that we're facing. But hopefully show some encouragement and positivity that we could possibly have some funding from this grant to assist in the improvements that we decide that we need to make. And regardless of the grant, I would want to encourage the teachers that there will be opportunity for curriculum and professional development at future in-services and staff meetings. So we're not just relying on the grant, we're using this process to better ourselves professionally. And then last step with the teachers, I would want to apply for the grant. So I would want to get a team together that would want to tackle gathering all of that information and data necessary to qualify for the grant. And then the team and I would meet with the Board of Education to get approval on submission of the grant and to discuss our plan moving forward from there with the board approval. And last, for my plan of action, I would want to talk to the PTO president and just ensure that the organization knows that their concerns are being heard and that we also see some problems that need to be addressed overall with our reading program. I would want to inform them of the plan that we have in place and then potentially set up an informative meeting with the organization and any other parents that would like to attend after we apply for the grant. So everybody's informed on that side too, and hopefully we can ease some of the negative perceptions on that end while we start the process. So some strategies that I would use during the implementation of my plan. First and foremost, I'd want to be direct with everyone involved because there is an obvious problem that needs to be addressed. Whether it be we analyze our data that we are collecting more effectively, or if we just do different professional development activities to better our instruction. But overall, I'd want to be positive as well, so no one is getting discouraged as we go through this as a team. And with the grant in mind and just our plan in general, I would want to be thorough to make sure we're doing everything we can to better our reading program for our students at Truman Elementary. Category 3 is resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students. I'd want to keep in mind what's best for all the students. It's important that everyone reflects and reevaluates their plan as we continue on positively. And I also think we need to ensure that we are thorough in applying for the grant, so hopefully we can use that money to fund any changes that we potentially want to make and any professional development opportunities that we may want to partake in. Resolution to the problems, regardless if we get the grant, we can use this process to develop new reading instruction practices and again do some self-reflecting and make some positive changes for our students. And with that in mind, for myself as an educational leader, I would want to provide the teachers with more opportunities to discuss our reading scores and more time to plan their instruction with each other at teacher in-services and staff meetings. Category 4, debrief the problem. What was I thinking, feeling, and valuing through the case study? First, I definitely had some concerns from the findings of the reading specialist, the low scores and the decline over the years, and just the overall instructional practice that she was seeing, or he or she was seeing in the classroom, raises a lot of concern because I would like to see teachers getting more specific instruction for students based off of their needs and their reading levels, and I think that would really just in general improve their reading scores. Second, I as a school leader felt that I needed to proceed through this process with caution and remain positive. I want to be forthcoming about the issues, but also be encouraging for what's to come in the future. Because even though there is a problem that we are trying to fix, it can be an exciting time for our building as we make those changes. And third, I value the success of the students. I want all of the students at Truman Elementary to be lifelong learners and to become great readers to better assist them in their future education and their future careers. And I also want my teachers and staff to feel that they're supported through the process and feel like we're all a team working towards a common goal to increase their reading scores. Some unresolved issues that I saw along the way as we go throughout our plan. What are some specific steps we will take if the grant is not awarded? Even if we're not funded through the grant, there will be some changes made to our teacher in service and staff meeting schedules and the way that we do things at those meetings for professional development opportunities, and also more time for the teachers to analyze the data that we do have to drive their instruction. Second, how will perceptions be reversed given the overall negative view of the Truman Reading Program? I think just increasing communication with the community and letting them know that we do also have some concerns and that we are taking the appropriate steps to hopefully get that taken care of and continue our school improvement. And if we do have a new reading curriculum that we decide to implement, I think it'd be important to have a parent night so we can inform them of what to expect as parents and what their children can expect through this new series. And third, how can we better align our curriculum and instruction across the district? So how can all of the elementary schools in our district kind of get on the same page and just be consistent across the board, and how can we better utilize our data so we can drive our instruction again among the whole district. Category 5, reflect on Standard 8. So as the building level administrator, I felt like I acted as an agent for continuous improvement by meeting with all of the administrators and reading specialists in our district, and then collaborating with the teachers in a positive and constructive manner, and promoted positivity with the community and staff in making all of these changes necessary. How I use knowledge of policies, laws, and regulations. I tried to make sure that I followed the chain of command through every meeting and discussion that was being had, and make sure I meet with everyone so everyone is informed. And through that addition of collaboration time at staff meetings and in services, that I'm meeting all the negotiations that have been set in place through our negotiated agreement. And for the grant proposal and just our overall plan for improvement, that I got board support and approval. And then last, how I established an ongoing dialogue with stakeholders. Again, I just wanted to make sure that I was conducting a meeting with all of the stakeholders, including the PTO, the Board of Education, our staff members, to inform them of the problem, encourage and have a positive outlook on what was to come and what was needed, and to have a plan set in place, a specific plan that we could all go through together. I then wanted to have a follow-up plan in place for professional development. Like I said, regardless if we get the grant or not, this will be a good time for reflection for our staff, and hopefully get them excited about new instructional practices that they could try in their classroom to help better those scores. And then for myself, making those schedule changes to accommodate data analysis and instructional planning. As an administrator, I felt it was important for me to reflect myself on how our staff meetings and teacher in services were conducted, and provide my teachers with the opportunity and time to better their instructional practices. So that is my case study, and thank you for your time.